I wonder when in the world you are going to do anything, Rudolph asked my brother's wife. My dear Rose, I answered, why in the world should I do anything? My position is a comfortable one. I have an income sufficient for my wants. I enjoy an enviable social position. I am brother to Lord Bellisden and brother-in-law to you, charming lady, his countess. Behold, it is enough. You are 9 and 20, she observed, and you have done nothing but knock about. It is true, our family does not need to do things. This remark of mine rather annoyed Rose, for everybody knows that her family is not of the same standing as the Rassendils. She possesses a large fortune, however, so my brother Robert is wise enough not to mind about her ancestry. Robert came in and glanced at his wife's flushed cheeks. "What's the matter, my dear?" he asked. "She objects to my doing nothing," I observed in an injured tone. "The difference between Robert and you," said my sister-in-law, "is that he recognizes the duties of his position, and you see the opportunities of yours." "To a man of spirit, my dear Rose," I answered, "opportunities are duties." "Nonsense," said she, tossing her head. After a moment or two, she said, "Sir Jacob's offering you exactly what you might be equal to." "1,000 thanks," I murmured. "He's to have an embassy in 6 months, and Robert says he is sure that he'll take you as a special official. Do take it, Rudolph, to please me." "My dear sister, if in 6 months' time Sir Jacob invites me, hang me if I don't go with him." "Oh, Rudolph, how good of you! I am glad." My promise, then, was given, but 6 months are 6 months and seem an eternity. I looked around for some desirable way of spending them, and it occurred to me suddenly to visit Ruritania. It may seem strange that I had never visited that country, even though I was distantly related to the Elfbergs, who were the ruling family of Ruritania. My father had always been averse to my going, and since his death, my brother, prompted by Rose, had accepted the family tradition which taught that a wide berth was to be given to that country. But the moment Ruritania came into my head, I was eaten up with curiosity to see it. My decision was clinched when I read in the Times that Rudolph V was to be crowned at Strelsau in the course of the next 3 weeks, and that great magnificence was to mark the occasion. I at once made up my mind to be present and began my preparations. I informed my relatives that I was going for a ramble in the Tyrol, an old haunt of mine, and calmed Rose's wrath by declaring that I intended to study the political and social problems of the interesting community that dwells in the neighborhood. "Oh, you will write a book?" she cried, clapping her hands. "That would be splendid, wouldn't it, Robert?" "It's the best introduction to political life nowadays," observed my brother. "I believe you are right, Bob, my boy," said I. "Now promise me you will do it," said Rose earnestly. "No, I will not promise, but if I find material enough, I will." "That's fair enough," said Robert. "Oh, material doesn't matter," she said. But she could not get anything more out of me. To tell the truth, I would have wagered a handsome sum that the story of my expedition that summer would stain no paper and spoil not a single pen. And that shows how little we know what the future holds. For here I am, fulfilling my promise and writing, as I never thought to write, a book, though it will hardly serve as an introduction to political life, and has not a jot to do with the Tyrol. Neither would it, I fear, please Lady Burlesdon, if I were to submit it to her critical eye, a step that I have no intention of taking. Even though she had pointed out the uselessness of my life, I had picked up a great deal of knowledge. I had been to a German university and spoke the language as readily and perfectly as English. I was thoroughly at home in French. I had a smattering of Italian and enough Spanish to swear by. I was, I believe, a strong, though hardly a fine, swordsman and a good shot. I could ride anything that had a back to sit on, and my head was as cool as you could find. My parents had left me £2,000 a year, and, with my roving disposition, I led a happy life.